Hello, welcome to this little presentation about how Klarna, where I work, uses SaaS to increase our overall growth. So that is not a picture of me. I do not dress that cool, but it is one of our recent campaigns that I might just talk about. The title of this session is 500,000 users to 5 million users in 1 year, which is true. But when we were first talking through this presentation with the organizers, we actually since then have surpassed to 8.5 million users. This is really just the trust me slide. Please trust me. So we had some pretty massive growth. And then a little bit about me is I am leading the charge on global shopping growth for Klarna. And that means using our mobile application to get tons and tons and tons of people to shop across all of our retailers and our buy now, pay later products. On my side hustle, I'm a professor at New York University. I teach undergrad for marketing analytics and social media marketing. And prior to that, I was marketing director at Kickstarter and also worked on IBM Watson's MarTech and AdTech products. So this presentation was so much fun to put together, given that this entire background I'm showing you now really relates to the what we're trying to do in the presentation. So I have a little video here, and I just realized I don't know if the audio will come through, but if so, it's only 30 seconds, and you get the gist of it. But I figured this might be a great way to introduce Klarna. So Klarna, we have a mobile application, and the cool thing for us nerds here, given the expected audience, so we actually scrape the entire internet and then layer our buy now, pay later technology directly on top of all these merchants, and it allows people to purchase in 4 installments as an alternative to a credit option. Klarna, we just raised another round and now are valued just shy of $11 billion. Originally in Sweden, and now a big charge here has been expanding in the US as well as other countries. Like Australia was something we launched in 2020, and then off to way more countries in 2021. So just giving you a little bit of background, we process about 1 million purchases per day globally, and we're not, I know it's like we raised around and we do have startup mentality, but this company has been around since 2005, which I think is a big part of why the 1 year story is so important. All right, so this mobile app allows people to shop anywhere. Important context for all the marketing I'm about to show you. And it's a way for us to make checkouts and shopping smoother, but safer, as well as with way less friction. So these are just little animations that show you that we have stores, deals, curated wish lists. We're using individual user interest data and behavioral data to curate the best products that might seem best for them. We also have exclusive partnerships with integrated merchants that allow our technology directly embedded on their site, which then actually makes the checkout process like a lot faster. So we are trying to go after the social shopping. You can create a wish list of your favorite products and then share it or follow others. And then the other side, we do have the very purchase-oriented kind of product features. So we get deals from our affiliate. It's one click, copy and paste into the actual checkouts. We have the buy now, pay later. We have delivery tracking and just so much more. Essentially, we've productized the entire shopping experience, and we got together and through our research figured out what people hate about shopping and how we can solve that. So like I said, we actually are just shy of 8.5 million installs, but what you're looking at is our monthly install graph. I actually think I have it weekly right here from March 2019 to November 2020. And you might be thinking, wait, John, you just said that the company was founded in 2005. And that's true. So I have a little bit of a story to show you because what the app represents is our direct-to-consumer offering. And given that we scrape the internet, we really are trying to make shopping ubiquitous, but it's also our growth hack for market expansion, market acquisition, because if let's say we have no idea how local economies will perform in 2020. I think that's fairly true across all economists and all marketers. Well, what if we want to slide into athleisure or travel or perhaps just like home storage? This allows us to be very flexible along that way. And that's where you might see some dips in normal growth curves. We have spikes here and then it goes back down, spikes and back down. We really are being very reactive, like most consumer organizations. And for that matter, then it's how fast can we fail and how fast can we learn? And that's essentially the story. So in 2005, Klarna rolled out its B2B product, which is online checkout technology that merchants directly integrate into their websites. However, we in 2017 wanted to become a little bit more than that. And that's when we really launched our direct to consumer offering that is our mobile app. So from 2005 to 2017, our research showed that nearly all of the financial companies have a blue logo and have very similar consumer perception. It's astounding how they all just kind of look the same. And so we created this little handbook for employees and essentially are trying to go way further than that because yes, we do have financial technology, but we also want to enable people to shop because they go hand in hand. And I think that having the two disjointed just makes it really hard to provide really good CX. So we do often ask ourselves, is this something a bank would do? And if yes, we don't do it. And if no, then we feel like we're in the right direction. So you can see the rebranding efforts here. We were blue and maintained that part of the business, but since then have also launched our credit card, our banking app, loyalty programs, and we launched with Smooth. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. His name is Snoop Dogg. We've coronated him as Smooth Dog for what that's worth to you, but it was our foray into that. So to better understand the use cases I am going to present to you, you also need to know a little bit about our MarTech. Here's some information from work. What we know about how CMOs in 2020 feel about Martino, how we're actually using it. And then 30% to 50% believe that it's actually a wasteful use of their budget. This is how like all technology works. I mean, when I was at IBM Watson, we saw a lot of the same trends and curves because it's when it's advanced technology, it means that you need to have a lot more individual skill sets within the organization who can manage it. And so we're seeing a rise in more technical marketers, but then also developers that are existing on marketing teams. So that might be data scientists, but data engineers, people who can really work through APIs. That then is requiring a lot more time. And we do come across this issue where throwing more resources at a problem does not necessarily solve it. So Klarna, for example, we do adopt the tribes, the squads kind of model. And our growth marketing teams have tons of support from engineering. And that allows our technical marketers to spend less time trying to do a task that an engineer could do much faster. I mean, if I play around with APIs all day, I'm sure I can figure it out, but an engineering team would be able to do it a lot faster. And then, of course, there's a lack of trust. I think the systemic issue there that I've seen at my past lives and also currently looking through the industry is I don't really trust that it necessarily works better. And I think that the lack of skills, lack of time, and things like that do contribute to worse results, which don't actually reflect the ceiling of what MarTech and these SaaS products can do. I'm assuming you've seen this chart before or something similar to it. Our MarTech does align to the pirate metrics, so awareness, so like acquisition, activation, retention, referral, and revenue, which is why it's called pirate metrics. And here you go, bam, our stack. So our big messaging platform is Braze. We're able to use it for all of our CRM, which includes email, push notifications, desktop captures, in-app messages, and the list goes on. It's a really great tool. I'm not here to sell you tools, though. Just want to give you enough context. We then also use adjust as our and our smart device version, device type, and then puts them into the right place. Because it's just stuff that we don't want, like, you really shouldn't have to worry about in 2020, especially as we're entering 2021. And then we flow a lot of that data through our data lake, like the warehouse, AWS. We use mParticle, which is a data. Well, I'm saying a lot. Sorry, which is a data automation tool. There's a bunch of competitors there. So I use Simon Data at Kickstarter, for example. IBM, of course, has their own product. And that allows us to push and pull data and audiences across all of our platforms, because what you're missing here is our ad tech. And we do have ad tech that helps with advertising. So we're sharing audiences back and forth so that we can have smarter marketing. In addition to that, we have Amplitude, which is like a decked out version of Google Analytics, but then also has direct integrations to make cohorts within the products. And on the top right, I didn't want to expand it so much because it's a little proprietary and don't want you to know exactly what we're doing, but I want you to know that that's our automation journey and all the triggers. As people are adding items to wish lists, let's say in athleisure, or opening an email or clicking on our ads, it all gets fed back. That then allows us to incrementally increase the performance and efficiency of all of our flows, which will then, of course, you've seen we're at 8.4 million users. I'm not going to share revenue metrics, but we're 3xing year over year, which is wonderful. So this is how we think of it. We need to be above the bar. So if banks, financial technology, and those kinds of companies don't offer shopping, the very minimum that gets us past the bar, but there's more than just that. So going into D2C as a B2B company is always risky. It can be disastrous. Look across the internet. I'm sure you can see tons and tons of examples of this. So going into direct to consumer, we wanted to say that we're doing it, but then also actually deliver it. You may also know this is just like a brand promise and being genuine. And so we have a bunch of different kinds of campaigns. This is one where we just won an Adweek award for Best Out of Home. All right, here's the deal. The way that we think about marketing is to feed that whole automation beast. And to feed it, we not only need data, but we just literally need new users so that we can learn, we can make the overall automation data set and machine a little more robust, but then slowly increase market share in places that our competitors might not be able to grow quickly. So the name of the game here is we think about our marketing a lot as receiving and getting temporary monopolies over small communities. And this small community was dog lovers. I think you can see the portrait of my dog here. And I'm a crazy dog lover and love this campaign. We made so instead of doing a billboard, we painted over this section in Brooklyn and we put all these dog toys on the lower level of it, because if we switch the mentality, we're like, all right, if we're dog lovers, then we love our dogs, and therefore the dogs are our target audience. So the acquisition here and the conversion was wonderful. We structured all the partnerships, all the marketing, all the CRM, and so forth directly around what would a dog like in reflection of a dog owner. Another campaign we ran, so this is in sequential and chronological order. So we ran this one in October of 2019, and that was right after our launch of direct-to-consumer in the US. And then after that, we designed this 2 custom engagement rings for women to propose to the partner of their choice. And we did this because we took a look at Valentine's Day and we're like, we don't really want to do that. It's hard to get a temporary monopoly during that time. But we figured that 2020 is a leap year. And this super old tradition shows that on February 29th, Americans decided that is the only day that women can propose for an engagement in marriage. Super messed up. So we took a spin on that and we had Lady Gaga propose to herself. And then we also had some totally normal, amazing people use the ring to propose as well. So this is just another example. The additional benefit here for our ad tech systems is that in consumer marketing, and even if you only look at fast fashion, the ad creative needs to be refreshed pretty often, and making refreshed ad creative and marketing creative takes so much time and effort. So the focus on these temporary monopolies allow us to also refresh those assets, stay relevant and top of mind in a way that other brands weren't doing, and for the most part still aren't super well. After that, we were like, hey, people like Sweden. IKEA is doing well. And so we launched a campaign called Swedish for Smoother Shopping, and we really leaned into that. And it's hard to define this exact kind of audience. It was more of a bigger brand campaign that then was used in performance. But I think this was a pretty good use case, because one of the things that we strive to do is not to have brand and performance like church and state. And so our brand campaigns are fully integrated into our MarTech and SaaS systems, and that manifests themselves in our CRM. So, for example, we did this 10-week series for that summer campaign with High Snobiety, and we were able to get a whole bunch. We had weekly influencers curate wish lists and items that we were then able to promote to our user base. We also held the first streetwear, I guess, like shopping experience in Animal Crossing, and we started thinking through what are the parts of everyone's like day to day where we can embed this kind of content, and also then made a 48-hour temporary. Yeah, we made a 48-hour pop-up shop where we had massive discounts on hot ticket items. So, for example, we worked directly with Fender, and they gave us a pink guitar and discounts for that, and like gaming chairs and so forth. So I know that it's like this presentation is not supposed to be all about brand, but the key to success here is that especially if you don't have a lot of market share, you need both together. There's numerous studies that do show that the brand recall and the brand lift ultimately makes CPC and CPA cheaper, and then also increase the effectiveness of things like email marketing and in-app marketing. So we followed that up with a partnership with Cosmo to do a 48-hour shopping event. And again, like now, same story. We're like, think about like the sequence of this as well as how we are optimizing and iterating over time. It's like, great, we learned that went well. Let's do it again. And then what kind of audience do we need? So Cosmo has an audience base that's first massive, but then also slightly different. So what we wanted to do was approach back to school, and we launched this thing August 8th and August 9th. And decided we don't just want to do a normal back to school campaign, because even in emails, the average user receives like 100 emails a day, which is insane. And we just don't want to be another organization that ruins people's inboxes. And hence, as we get more information that allows us to personalize the content, we can then turn it around and provide the right content to the right people. So we called it Holiday, and we'll have more iterations of that. And our most recent and the final example here of something that we've completed is we did a campaign that we called Playing for Keeps. We allowed everyday gamers to compete against professional gamers. So we had Snoop Dogg come in again, but then Cypher PK as well as Kitty Play. I'm not a gamer, I'm so sorry. But if you do, then I'm sure you would love this. And if they beat the gamer head to head, then they won a free part of their gear. So like the controllers, the console, the couch in the room, things like that. And yeah, so then launch this in all that stuff. And I want to pause here, and I'm almost done, I promise. I want to pause here and then also show you something that was really impactful in our growth curve. It's when you look at your competitive set, you figure out what they do well and what they don't do well. And usually it's by audience type or like product feature. What I wanted to do, and was what we looked at in December of 2019, and we eventually launched it in June of 2020, is that a lot of financial organizations have made the Hispanic and Latinx communities in the US feel a little burned. And then our direct competitors that are more startup oriented did not offer their platforms in Spanish language. So here's what we did. We created a system where all of our customer service is offered in Spanish. We translated all of our content in the app to dynamically translate itself. And then our nurture marketing was then translated into Spanish, as well as our advertising. And you can see the growth curve here is very wonderful and has a major contribution to that overall growth. And just more examples, like everywhere. It was in our automation flows, it was in our ads, it was in our editorial content, and so forth. So, and that rolls into our loyalty program, which we just launched in Q3, so that people are able to purchase and then have more of a gamified experience. And this is also wonderful because we can then take our core audience base and increase the overall stickiness. Not sure if you measure stickiness the same way, but for us, it's daily active users divided by monthly active users. And that allows us to really drive marketing campaigns that give people a reason to log in every day. I mean, that's their wish. It's like shoot for the moon, but to increase that stickiness. I don't assume that we'll have 100% stickiness, but we're trying to dramatically increase that. And one way we're doing that in a campaign that has not launched yet, this launches December 7th, is that we're doing like our own QVC style live shopping event. And we've partnered with a brand called Naked. And we're taking it from like what you normally think of as like infomercials and online shopping. And we're clarinetizing it to live up to the modern day experience. And we're looking to, for example, TikTok as inspiration. If you are not part of TikTok, it's just a wonderful part of the internet. It's not like Twitter. No offense, Twitter. It tends to be a negativity cesspool. TikTok is just like fun. And I think for that reason, people are also looking towards it for shopping inspiration. So we're trying to replicate that as best as we can. And everything gets dumped into these automation flows. You can see day 0, 3, 6, 9, and 12, what they get, how they're automatically suppressed. And of course, all of that is in Spanish as well. So don't forget, in 2005, we were B2B, so we also are able to really lean into thousands of brands where our checkout technology is embedded on the site. And that allows us more flexibility because thinking about brand and performance shouldn't be church and state. B2B and B2C don't need to be that way anyway, that way either. A lot of organizations do this well too. Can probably name off dozens of them now. But it is a cautionary tale to make sure that the two parts of the organizations and the two houses really do work together, because it's only when you're leveraging all parts of the business, especially if you don't have the ideal market share, that's how you get it. You're learning fast, you're learning by failing, and you're utilizing all parts of the buffalo. Cool. So that's my crash course in all the marketing that we do at Klarna, and would love to field any questions that you have. All right, looking at the public chat. Oh, hi from Tel Aviv, hi from Boston, and holy moly, are you all just from everywhere? Expand a bit on how you use behavioral data. What metrics do you track? Yeah, absolutely. So our KPIs, for example, and then we can work backwards from there, because who doesn't like OKRs? So we are trying to, for the shopping team in particular, we're trying to convert people to their first purchase within a 30-day period, and if not sooner than that. And then if you work backwards from there, then that's why we're looking at metrics like stickiness, daily active usage, monthly active usage, but then also product feature engagement. We have people can make the wish list, like I said, and what we've done is we've had a ton of analysis that shows the significance and the corollary between specific product interaction and then that conversion to their first purchase there. And I know everyone loves second, third, fourth purchase because it's tied to LTV. But when you're like, again, you're newer to the market, trying to gather market share and increase initial stickiness, that first purchase is so key to us. So one thing that we figured out is we have price drop notifications everywhere, given the way we're scraping all the information. And for that matter, when someone enables a price drop notification, there's it's nearly 100% conversion rate to a purchase. So it makes the whole task a little less daunting, because we're getting people to engage with a product feature that we know turns into a purchase, rather than just flooding them with CTAs. Good question. Thank you. Another good question. Do you track churn similar to SaaS companies, or does that work differently? We do track churn on multiple levels. So the first part of churn is whether or not they come back and make a repeat purchase month over month. But the issue with a mobile app is, and this is prevalent across all the mobile app organizations, we know when they're not coming back, but we actually don't have the data that shows they uninstalled the app. So it's a lot harder because it's not like unsubscribes, or it's not like deleting an account. So churn, we have a general forecast of it, but where we concretely look at it is inactive users by app logins, as well as purchases month for month. So any advice for starting the MarTech automation journey? Which processes should be automated first? I should just get the word depends tattooed on my forehead. It really, really depends. But um, I like, okay, so my marketing love diagnosing it from there. But the things I would look at are, what are your primary marketing channels, and where are you working well and poorly? Where are you seeing the biggest bottlenecks? And then assessing the MarTech landscape. There's, I think, 7,000 MarTech tools on the market, which is absurd. And so you can probably find an affordable one for your specific use case and then build up from there. For us, we just needed to better, we can't just sit around and send an email every day. We're gonna die because it's going to here. And then we knew that also the bottleneck is primarily contained to that first purchase. So Braze is a great tool for us because it's multi-channel. We can then test out IAMs, which are in-app messages, as well as push. But then we can make a tiered approach and use their features as we grow. Learning from failures, shared a lot. What were some of those useful failures for you? Oh my gosh, there's so many. So in 2020, we started from this like beachheads model. And given that we have so many different audiences and so many different product features, we sent marketing out in the acquisition that talked about each product feature with, I'm not kidding, literally no ad targeting. We were like praying to the Facebook and Google algorithm gods, and we're like, all right, whoever, we're going to make the ad units so specific to a user that only they would engage with it. And then the algorithms, the AI and like nodes and so forth on these platforms would show it to the right people. And for that reason, we learned, it actually allowed us to learn a lot faster, because the people who we thought might be our target audience, which is like late Gen Z, early millennials, everyone, their mom wants those people, turned out to be actually in approximately 35 years old, as well as in the southeastern regions of the US. And of course, we were like, okay, let's target New York and LA and also younger millennials and see how that goes. So just knowing who to target was really great. And then separately, we spent a lot of time on editorial email content, thinking that people want that kind of stuff. And we tested it against emails that only showed products. Neither performed super well. So we eventually found out, and you can see it in our emails now, that it's a really good combination of the two. But my bet was that people actually want editorial content because they can just find individual products wherever. So that was like kind of eye-opening as well. Greg, you're also asking 0 to 500,000. So that's from March until July. So we actually hosted this first brand campaign that I wasn't part of and can't speak too much to because I joined in August. So we launched with RuPaul's Drag Race, and we got a lot of the drag community in the US, and that amounted to about 500,000 users. And of course, it was a really aggressive ad campaign as well. With any ad campaign, when you start out, it's going to be astronomically higher than it is now. So as we've gotten more brand lift, as well as we've gotten smarter about who to target and so forth, all those costs have gone down. So it was a pay to play and a partnership kind of strategy. RuPaul's Drag Race is awesome, by the way. Yeah, I really love it. We actually, what I found really interesting is Sticky there. This is just anecdotal, but so that community still uses Klarna as like a catchphrase. So it's like a big win. It's not like a performance marketing metric, but I love that kind of stuff just sticks with us. Yes, if you can't love yourself, for sure. That concludes it for the questions, and we have 30 seconds left. So right now, I'm knee deep teaching in the semester right now, but something that I do when I'm not teaching, which will be in the spring. So starting in January, you can check out my website. It's johnchang.co. Also message me on LinkedIn for a $10 donation to the charity of my choice. I give a 30-minute office hour. Of course, I can only do a few a week, so it tends to get backed up. But if you ever want to chat about career or have like your marketing reviewed, look out for that. Message me on LinkedIn. I'll put the link there. I'm starting January 1st when I'm not just like tired all the time. All right. Thank you so much. And I'm going to dip out. You're all amazing. And I really appreciate your time.